Hi guys, today I will be sharing my journey with respect to helium mining. Uh, I of late I have seen that the helium mining scene is exploding in India, and I think it's a good time that for us to have videos and information about helium mining, which are more relevant to India and the challenges that we face here. So I have basically created a small list of things that you need to prepare before you order or while you are waiting for your helium hotspot to arrive at your place. So I'll be going through all these six things that I think are very essential. This, according to me, which the things that I faced when I was installing my helium hotspots. Uh, let me just give you a brief about all the six things which I think are really important. First is finalize a location. L- Helium mining is all about location. The better your location, the better the rewards. So find find go spend time on your roof or in your home, find a location, and I'll give you the parameters what you should look at and finalize it for yourself. Second is the Wi-Fi router. What provider, what length, how distant, how much is the distance, everything we'll go through that. The power availability, your hotspot needs to be powered, so you need to provide adequate power to your hotspot. The cable, there's a cat 6 cable which goes from your hotspot to your Wi-Fi router. So we'll talk about that as well. There are certain things I think you should buy and prepare in advance before your hotspot comes, so that you don't waste time after the hotspot arrives. And last is the helium wallet setup. Again, this I think you should do beforehand, so that if there is any issue, you can be prepared for it and you can learn how to go through it. So yeah, the first is location, how to prepare. So for there are, I think, three things, two related to the antenna and third is the cable length. First is the antenna height. It should be as high as possible. Try and spend time on your roof. Find a lift room or a mumty or something which has the highest height. And if there is any issue that you think that you cannot attain that height, then use a pole or a stand so that your antenna height can be increased. Second is the antenna location. Antenna location obviously should be as high as possible. Secondly, there should be no building nearby. So if there is a neighboring building which is obstructing the view, that will reduce the generation from your antenna. So a clear line of sight from your antenna is much more preferable. There should be no wall or obstruction around your antenna. Third, I think, is the cable length. You should try and reduce it as much as possible. Reduce the cable length from the antenna to the router or the power supply. So the lesser the cable length, the better the power signal, and the higher the power signal, the better the generation. Second is the Wi-Fi router, which one to buy and where to place. So what I've gone through a lot of Discord channels and on the Helium as well as for Helium as well as the other manufacturers, I think Airtel works pretty well. But there are certain settings that need to be done for Geo, but that also works. Second is placement. The Wi-Fi, see, all Wi-Fi routers are generally inside the home. But if you can place the router on the roof, that I think will be the best place and increase your generation a lot. This will reduce the cable length, and it will obviously, the third point is that it will be a separate connection, so there is no interruption from anyone at your home, and there is no possibility of anyone switching it off or tampering with it. So it will, your reliability and your safety of your router is much better. So if you can have a separate connection, that I think will be really helpful. Next is power availability. how do you power the hotspot? So again, if the hotspot is on the roof and your power is inside your home, if the cable length, that will increase your cable length. So if you want to reduce the cable length, I felt that if we had electric point already planned and installed, connected on your roof, then I think your generation will be much easier and much better. So instead of putting the router on the roof and then bringing the wire down till the electric point, instead take the wire and put an electric point up on the roof, so that it can power the router as well as the hotspot. And again, make a direct connection to the grid so that there is no switch and there is no possibility of someone switching off the switch and putting your hotspot down. So you can make a direct connection, and obviously the safety will be compromised, but if you can monitor it regularly, which I think you will, that should not be a problem. Second and third are points which I think are generally missed, and I think are very, very essential for your life and the sustainability of your hotspot. Second, one is earthing and the other is lighting protection. So if the router or the hotspot are on the roof, there is a good chance of there being a surge, electrical surge inside, and that can actually destroy your hotspot or the router. So if you can create a small green wire which connects inside from the router as well as the hotspot and provides earthing to both of them, that will, I think, increase the safety of both your devices. Similarly, lightning protection is very important, because again, you are on the roof and your antenna is almost we are trying to place the antenna at the highest point. So if you're using a pole, you can connect a small lightning arrestor with the pole, so that the height of the lightning arrestor is higher than the highest point of your antenna. So in case of lightning, the lightning arrestor will absorb the lightning and save the router as well as the hotspot. So this, I think, is a point which is gravely missed. But again, from being from electrical background, I understand the importance of this point. Next is cable length and route. Again, what has been mostly recommended is that the length should be less than 15 meters. But in case the length is increasing, there might be a possibility of you going and finding cables, Cat6 or LAN cables, which are higher in thickness, so that even if the length is higher, your power loss or your signal loss is much lesser. So I think you'll have to search for this, but I'll surely find a solution and share it with you in later. Routing, again, the first time I tried to install the Helium miner, I was used to installing prim and proper cable from the boundary of the wall of the building, but that increased my length pretty high. So then the second method we found was to do a direct connection, but that was the cable was hanging, so it was not secure, and there was a fear of the cable breaking. So you have to find a way out, so that even if it is looking shabby, but the length should be less, but at the same time it should be secured in case of wind, in case of birds sitting on the cable. So you need to take care that none of these things happen, but at the same time the length is less as well. Third, I think, is drilling walls. Again, if the cable has to minimize the length, so instead of going around the walls, drilling through them can be a good option. So if you can identify locations through which you want to drill your holes, that I think will be the best way to plan for your hotspot and the router. There are a few things which I think you should buy before your hotspot or at the time of installation. One mostly recommended is that you go for a higher antenna. The standard antenna which comes with most manufacturers is a 3 dBi. So you can maybe go for a 8 or a 12 dBi antenna, and you will find vendors around you, with trusted vendors who will give you a good deal on these as well. Lightning arrestor, as we discussed, the importance. It's a small device, will not cost you much, but it will protect and save your hotspot and the router. Cable jointers, in case there is no solution and you have to increase the length, so there might be a need to join cable uh, and increase the length, which I don't recommend, but just in case, then you must have cable connectors and crimping tools to connect the LAN LAN cable and the Cat6 cable, female as well as the male. Fourth is the cable clips. Again, if it is going on the walls and you don't want it to hang around, you don't want it to be sagging so that it gets broken. So cable clips are, you will get maybe 50 pieces of cable clips for 10 rupees. So it's not much. You can easily afford it, and it will help secure your cable. Drill machine, this might be required, but I think if you're getting it installed from an electrician, he should have it. So even if you don't buy it, you just ensure that you have it with you. And lastly, I think I faced this difficulty. I was connecting the router as well as the hotspot on the same electricity point, so I did not have a multi-point plug, so I had to go and buy it. So if you can have it handy before you start the connections, it will be really helpful. Last but not the least is the Helium wallet setup. So while you are waiting for your hotspot to arrive, what you should do is just download the app from the Play Store, play around and get used to it. Look at the other miners around you and find the location on which hex is your hotspot going to be connected. So that will give you a fair idea of your location. So you just get a feel of what you are getting into. Second is create a wallet. This is where your money, your Helium tokens will get stored. So creating the wallet, create the password and note down the 12 alphabet passphrase very safely. This is what will uh, give you access to your wallet. And if in case you forget the password and the 12 alphabet passphrase, all your earnings will not be accessible. So please be careful and note it down in your notebook as well as your soft and hard and copies, and ensure that you don't share it with anyone no matter what. Lastly, this is an additional tip, that before your hotspot comes and you're waiting, so you can just buy a couple of HNT tokens from your Binance or other exchanges, centralized exchanges. Try and transfer it to and from your wallet, so that you can get a fair idea of how you can cash out your earnings from Helium. So I think these are a few easy things that you can do to prepare yourself. And while you're waiting, you're excited, I understand. So this would be a good way to use your energy and be prepared, so that you don't waste time when the Helium hotspot arrives at your place. I wasted around 2 to 3 days just in understanding these things, and each day costs you money once your hotspot reaches you. So being prepared is, I think, the best way for it. So please do like, share, and subscribe. I You can follow me on Twitter and YouTube channel, and I'm also making a Helium owners Telegram channel. So please find the link below. Please do join. Uh, if the community is vibrant, we can share knowledge and help increase our earnings using the Helium miners. So I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you soon. And if you feel if I should cover any of the topics in detail, do tell me. I will make separate videos for any of these topics that I have shared. Thank you.